Directly into the game. Thanks for watching that small break for us. We are in game number 2 in this best of 5, and it's the last best of 5 that we're going to be casting here for GFINITY. Day 3, and of course they'll be hosting the main stream afterwards, so you guys can watch the rest of the tournament over here should you choose. That being said, spawning on the top left corner of the map, he's up 1-0 in the series from Samsung Galaxy. It's the red Zerg player, Solar.
In the bottom right has the blue Zerg. It's my Insanity's Sacsri.
Every time I come back from break and I see you about to talk, I'm like, oh, did I remember to unmute her? Then I remember, like, I never mute us in the first place, aside from, like, the rare times we take longer breaks. But there's no reason. Like, my heart, like, it's like, you know, in a video game when you fall and you feel that feeling in your stomach? Like, my heart still skips a beat. I don't understand why.
I don't know that feeling when I play a video game.
Well, you've never had, like, you jump out of a plane and, like, you can totally, like, as you're falling, you feel, like, in your stomach?
No, I've never had that connection with a video game before.
Wow, you are the worst.
Although, do you ever play, like, Pilot Wings on N64?
No, but I remember that game because my friends played it all the time and I just watched.
Dude, I loved that game. That was so... It was so stupid because it was just, like, there was no story mode or anything. I actually couldn't figure out, like, what the end goal was. You just picked a person, whatever you want to call them, and then you picked, like, through a cannonball, through a kite, through a plane, like, whatever you want. Oh, N64 is some really silly games. I just kind of miss, like, games that just really about silliness. You know, I get, like, really hyper-realistic ones. Of course, StarCraft 2 is pretty serious business. Did
you see that? Sorry, guys, we got pretty actual normal openers this game, so we're just kind of smack talking for a second. But did you see that Banjo-Kazooie sort of, like, remake or whatever the new version's called? And its Kickstarter raised, like, $1 million in, like, a day?
I have not. I'm kind of surprised I haven't heard about this.
Yeah, it's for the folks who did Banjo-Kazooie, I think. I could be wrong on this because I didn't really do my research. I just saw it.
Oh god, who were they called? They were really famous. They were like the 90s company. What was their name?
Rare.
I'm gonna have to Google this.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was Rare, right? Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it was
remember
that
their
or,
logo more than anything else.
I don't know if it was Rare or if it was just like the two guys or whatever, but I was checking out because like our Kickstarters do well, so I'm checking out other things, and like this Kickstarter raised like 1.8 million in like a day or something. I was like, whoa.
That's really cool. That's another example of just being really fun. Or like Jet Set Radio is fun. It wasn't on 64.
Oh,
Jet Force Gemini though, that was on 64, and that was fun.
Okay, that's a game I have beef with for personal reasons, but Jet Set Radio Future, man, those were the understand. You're just like grinding down like the stupid like side of Shibuya Terminal. Like, oh, it was so good.
I love when like the police come and you're just like get the little stupid cutscene where they're running after you. Oh, good time.
GTA's got nothing on that, but okay. Game's finally taking shape. Both players are going for the bailing nest. Drone count fairly similar. Gonna even up here for Solar in just a second. Oh, but it is that 5.5 minute, pardon my yawn, sorry guys, still very early, but it is that 5.5 minute mark. This is where we start seeing the larva injects no longer be used for drones, but instead lings, if they're going to cut, if they're going to go for the all-in. And it looks like it is Sacsri who's going to make that choice.
Yes, sir. Solar little supply blocked. So that might still be him getting more lings. Well, no, but he will need them once he realizes what's happening. He does have overlords outside of the base covering a lot, so there's no way that Solar doesn't see this, basically as soon as possible. A couple of cautionary banelings being morphed, and that's going to be really nice for Solar. Of course, speed is going to finish up, and Sacsri behind this is not going to invest much into it. He goes for a very quick lair.
I kind of like this, though, because the idea is that now you want Solar to overinvest in defenses. You want Solar to throw on a spine crawl, you want Solar to cut drones entirely, and just go straight to lings. And if that's the case, then boom, mission accomplished. But with the banelings out, it's going to be really hard to actually cause some damage with this. And the drone was too gung-ho to fight.
Well, Solar is constantly keeping an eye on the overlords over or near Sacsri's base, so he knows that there aren't any more lings in the way. And as such, you know, what he has is probably good enough. Gets a baneling for a couple of lings, that's nice, and starts his own lair. About almost a full layer behind, but pretty still well timed. And in fact, both of them kind of look like they're maybe both of them kind of look like they're gonna go for a spire. Like no roach warners are thrown down, no evo chamber.
No, I agree. It feels like it's gonna be Muto versus Muto as the follow-up, which isn't necessarily a bad versus good thing, but it is a strange dynamic that has I don't know, it's fallen out. It used to be the only thing, of course, at the start of Heart of the Swarm. There was literally nothing else you could do. Roaches kind of took the cake after that. But at the same time, I wonder if this might be one of those Bly Spires, so to speak. You go for the Spire, you don't overinvest in the mutas, you just get map control with them, and then transition to the Roaches quickly afterwards. Or it could just actually straight up be full-out muta versus muta. I'm actually really curious which direction this is going to take.
Well, unfortunately, if you choose muta and they choose muta, you both have to go muta. Like, there might be an opportunity to cancel or even not use the Spire and go for Roach and hope that you surprise your opponent, but those are pretty rare.
Okay, so I kind of feel like what you're saying is half something I agree with. Like, there's that saying, like, all elephants are gray, but not all gray things are elephants. Same with the mutas. Like, okay, you're typically not supposed to stop making mutas if you see your opponent's also got mutas. And the other rule is that if you're going mutas and your opponent's not making mutas, you stop going mutas. But that doesn't mean it's the only way to handle it. You could still transition out of it. You can try and do something more dedicated underneath it. And we've seen it work in very rare instances. But for the most part, I agree. Like, for what classically is ZVZ, what classically is muta versus muta, it's probably going to force dedications out of both.
The last time we saw, well, muta versus muta is just like a lot more rare in general, but the last time we saw it was like sort of, and he did try like what you're talking about, like going into Roach after making 8 mutas, and it actually failed hard. So
this is such a messy fight going on right now.
Doesn't have a good track record.
Banlings.
But yeah, it's not gonna.
Oh, Banlings on the left side. Oh, they don't get the connects.
It's trading out pretty well for both parties. Of course, they both want to get cancels on each other's thirds. Okay,
gets the larva, actually. That was a nice hit with the Banlings.
He can still save this. He's a Banling, doesn't he?
Well, he can save with the Lings, I think, no?
No.
Force the cancel.
That's
gonna sting.
Okay, well, that's a mistake. Solar cannot possibly go for Retro Sax.
This is almost definitely a mistake, yeah.
No, that's so much gas, though. Like, that's a
That's
big
like a whole
investment.
muta right there.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty bad. Of course, I think he wanted Overlord speed. I bet you usually get that anyways too. That would have been interesting to see, but it's possible that's what he wanted. They both get Carapace. They both realize that they are going for mutas. Kind of just things you have to do.
I'm fairly positive this is a mistake. Like, because if it was going to be Ventral Sax on purpose, you see the Carapace start up around now to pair up with it, because Carapace takes longer to research. So, or not Carapace, but I mean Ventral Sax, rather. It takes longer to research. So
Ventral Sax takes longer to research than the speed boost.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, you would see the speed boost started now to time out with it if he was actually going for Ventral Sax.
That's what I thought you were going to say, but I think you're going to get, like...
I got the names wrong.
Cross.
100%. Yeah.
all right. But yeah, I think I know what you mean. Yeah, that's absolutely true. So it's really quite bad that he's letting us finish.
No
he has
spores.
not noticed the mistake.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. We still got time to cancel it. The Burrow I actually really like, but it's...
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you don't want to have to invest in 9 spores if you can get away with it, but the problem is that muta count, and I guess if you guys weren't really around for the days of this, it's still very true. 1 Mutalisk is really all you need to win a battle, but the fact that Sacsri's up about 5, that's a huge deal.
Yeah. Well, the fact that he got a cancel on the third base when they're going to be so evenly timed is huge. Like, the third is the most important part about this game. So, Solar, unfortunately, has not as great mineral income and definitely not as good of a gas income. It looks like as he loses the muta fight, you kind of just lose the game here.
GG. Bit of a anticlimactic end of the game, but that is muta versus muta for you in a nutshell.